So let me skip over this a little bit. But Tiresias in 455 here prophesies of Oedipus's fate. He says, and this is after the play, not during the play, but when the play ends, this is what shall happen to him. He'll have no joy. Let's say. The murder of Laius is here, he says. In name, he is a stranger among citizens, but soon he will be shown to be homegrown. True native Theban, and he'll have no joy of the discovery. Blindness for sight and beggary for riches his exchange, the peripeteia. He shall go journeying to a foreign country, tapping his way before him with a stick. He shall be proved father and brother both to his own children in his house, to her that gave him birth, a son and husband both. A fellow sower in his father's bed with that same father that he murdered. Go within, reckon that out. And if you find me mistaken, say I have no skill in prophecy. So he predicts the future here, demonstrating that he is a true prophet, in fact. This is exactly what will happen going forward. So there's an unknown evil which will take a human shape. The chorus will proclaim here. And the chorus projects images of the murder. So there's a word play on there. And the last line that they have here, the fates that never miss, it really represents the whole significance of the play. Let me come to the last line here. He saved the city, so he will not be condemned by my mind. This is what the chorus says, not true. He didn't save the city. He's destroying the city, and you will condemn him. The chorus is also blind. The city itself can be mistaken, can do the wrong thing. They simply can't accept this, at any rate. So the chorus at first thinks that it can see everything. By the end of the play, the chorus will have learned from the fate of Oedipus that it can't trust its own judgment even. So there's a discernment and awareness that we can't just simply trust appearances. This is the philosophic impulse. We have to discern, we have to look deeper. Can't just trust on the basis of what we can see with our eyes. But Oedipus believes, and this is probably a rational explanation, there must be a plot afoot. Like what Tiresias said, it's clearly an attack on him as a man, and there must be a motivation for that. There must be a plot afoot. Creon is put Tiresias up to say what he just said, and he wants power himself because he's the next in line. So he keeps going after this and he accusing this. And where will we go on here? I got how much? I got 25 minutes left. So where shall I skip? I'm going to skip forward a fair bit. Fact. Any sections you want me to clarify, by the way, before I go to my own choices here? Your comments or thoughts at this point, by the way. We've not yet met Jocasta yet, so I should look at those two coming together. Mother/wife and Oedipus, who is son/husband. So the Creon quarrels. Okay, and now Jocasta comes in. So she comes in at 6:34. The chorus is upset because now they're quarreling in the royal house. And Jocasta enters from the palace. What does she say? First words, "For shame!" Because of the quarreling. There's greater shame than quarreling here. "Why have you raised this foolish squabbling? Are you not ashamed to air your private troubles when the country's sick?" Irony. The private troubles are why the country's sick. The private sins in her own bed are why the country is being destroyed. "Go inside, Oedipus, And you too, Creon, go to your house. Don't magnify your nothing troubles. My sister, Oedipus, your husband, thinks he has the right to do terrible wrongs to me. He's choosing between either banishing or killing me. He's right, Jocasta, for I find him plotting with evil tricks against my person. And Creon, may God never bless me. May I die accursed if I've been guilty in any way of any of the charges you bring against me. And then Jocasta, I beg you, Oedipus, trust him in this. Spare him for the sake of his oath to God, for my sake and the sake of those who stand here. The chorus comes in and so forth and wants to intervene. They're trying to solve the problem that has transpired here as well. But Jocasta then starts asking questions. How did this come about? What's been said? What did the prophets say that set you off and made you so upset? And she says, what roused your anger so? 700. I will tell you, said Oedipus. I honor you more than I honor them. It was Creon and the plots he laid against me. Tell me, said Jocasta, if you can clearly tell the quarrel. Creon says that I'm the murderer of Laius. Of his own knowledge or on information? He sent this rascal prophet to me, since he keeps his own mouth clean of any guilt. And now Jocasta, and this is interesting, this is information, a slow dripping of information that will start to undermine the appearance of there's no way that this could have happened. Do not concern yourself about this matter. Listen to me and learn that human beings have no part in the craft of prophecy. Hubris on her part as well, by the way. Or that I'll show you a short proof. There was an oracle once that came to Laius. I will not say that it was Phoebus' own, but it was from his servants. And it told him that it was fate that he should die a victim at the hands of his own son, a son to be born of Laius and me. But see now, he, the king, was killed by foreign highway robbers at a place where 3 roads meet. So goes the story. And for the son, before 3 days were out after his birth, King Laius pierced his ankles, and by the hands of others cast him forth upon a pathless hillside. So Apollo failed to fulfill his oracle to the son, that he should kill his father. And to Laius also proved false in the thing he feared, death at his own son's hands. Never came to pass. So clear in this case were the oracles describing the future. Give them no heed. So here's the proof that prophecies are not to be feared. This was a clear prophecy and it didn't happen. Give them no heed. She's not blasphemous. It's not because Apollo lies. It's his priests that can get it wrong. Just the prophets can get it wrong. It's not the gods, but the prophets. And then he says, "O dear Jocasta, as I hear this from you, what wandering in my soul now comes upon me? What turbulence of mind?" Jocasta, "What trouble is it that you turn again and speak like this? I thought I heard you say that Laius was killed at a crossroads." Yes, that was how the story went, and still that word goes around. Where is this place, Jocasta? Where was he murdered? Phocis is the country, and the road splits there, one of 2 roads from Delphi. Another goes from Daulia. How long ago was this? Because he knows that he killed a man right there at the crossroads. How long ago was this? The news came to the city just before you became king. And all men's eyes looked to you. What is it, Oedipus, that's in your mind? What have you designed, O Zeus, to do with me? Because he now thinks that he's the murderer. He's connected that. What is the thought that troubles your heart? Don't ask me yet. Tell me of Laius. How did he look? How old or young was he? He was a tall man, and his hair was grizzled already, partly white, and in his form, not unlike you. Oh, of course. Oh God, I think I have called curses on myself in ignorance. What do you mean? I'm frightened now, my king, when I look at you. I have a deadly fear that the old seer had eyes. You'll show me more if you can. Tell me one more thing. I will. I'm frightened, but you ask and I will listen. I'll tell you what I know. How was his company? Had he few with him when he went with this journey, or many servants as would suit a prince? In all there were but 5, and among them a herald and 1 carriage for the king. It's plain! It's plain! Who was it told you this? The only servant that's escaped safe home. Is he at home now? Jocasta, no. When he had come home again and saw that you were king and lay us dead, he came to me, touched my hand, and begged that I should send him to the fields to be my shepherd, and so he might see the city as far off as he could. So I sent him away. He was an honest man, as slaves go, and was worthy of far more than what he asked of me. So could he quickly now be brought back here? It can be done. Why is your heart so set on this? Oh, dear Jocasta, I am full of fears that I have spoken far too much, and therefore I wish to see this shepherd. He will come. So he knows that he's the murderer. It happened right before he is quite sure of that. But that is not the end of the story. He doesn't know that it was his father. He just knows that he's the murderer of the king. That much is clear. But he has made no connection between the king and his father, because he was born, after all, in Corinth. Those were his parents. He fled so that he wouldn't do that. But he is the murderer of the king. This is a capital offense. Terrible crime, no doubt about it, but it has nothing to do with the prophecy. But now he's put 2 and 2 together. Oh, it was me that did it. Oh, no. So he will go on, and this unlayering of the all of the things that reassured Oedipus that he was not the man prophesied to have done this terrible deed. All of those will slowly unravel. And as they go, he will eventually, the one thing that remains is his fear that he should have incest with Polybus' wife. Now, Polybus is the king of Corinth. Oh, by the way, yeah, okay. So there's this moment, and I am skipping over for the sake of time. He gets word that the king of Corinth is dead. Like the king of Thebes is dead, he knows that, but he gets a herald come in and says the king of Corinth is dead, and he's like, that's good news. That your father's dead, that's good news. Yes, because I can't kill him. Right? So I can't fulfill the prophecy. But I still might be able to sleep with my mother who's in Corinth. So I'm like, how is that going to happen? But it could happen somehow. But he's afraid of that prophecy because it's a horrible thing. So he's killed the king, but he can't kill his father. That's good. Okay, that's good. I like this. As bad as it is to have killed the king, at least I can't kill my father, and there's no way I'm going to sleep with my mother. That would be an abominable thing. So as we go on, we will find that although he knows that he's the murderer of the king, Jocasta is going to come to the knowledge that he is in fact her son before he does. Now let me come to this passage here. The messenger will come and will reveal things. And there are pages and pages of this. And I will pick it up on 987. So he hears that his father's dead. And then Jocasta says, still in your father's death there's light of comfort? Great light of comfort. But I fear the living. Who is the woman that makes you afraid? Merope, old man, Polybus' wife. What about her frightens the queen and you? A terrible oracle, stranger, from the gods. Can it be told, or does the sacred law forbid another to have knowledge of it? Oh no. Once on a time, Loxias said that I should lie with my own mother and take on my hands the blood of my own father. And so for these long years I've lived away from Corinth. It has been to my good fortune. because now he's a king and he's got a family and it's been good. And yet it's sweet to see the face of parents. This was the fear that drove you out of Corinth? Oh man, I did not wish to kill my father. Why should I not free you from this fear, sir, since I have come to you in all goodwill? You would not find me thankless if you did. Oh, well, why? It was just for this I brought the news, to earn your thanks when you had come safe home. No, I will not come near my parents. Messenger, son, it's very plain you don't know what you're doing. What do you mean, old man? For God's sake, tell me. If your homecoming is checked by fears like these, yes, I'm afraid that Phoebus may prove right. Pollution from your parents? Yes, old man, that's my constant terror. Do you know that all your fears are empty? How is that, if they are my father and mother and I their son? Because Polybus was no kin to you in blood? What? Was not Polybus my father? No more than I, but just so much. How can my father be my father as much as one that's nothing to me? Neither he nor I begot you. How then did he call me son? A gift he took you from these hands of mine. This messenger is the shepherd that took him and was to expose him, but he didn't do it. No, this shepherd is not. This is a different shepherd. The shepherd that took him to expose him gave him to this shepherd who then took him to Corinth. And he knows the truth. No, I gave you to him, this baby. He's not your father. So I've relieved all your fears. A gift he took you from these hands of mine. Did he love me so much that he took from another's hand? His childlessness before persuaded him. Was I a child you bought or found when I was given to him? On Kithaeron's slopes in the twisting thickets you were found. It's the mountain. And why were you a traveler in those parts? I was in charge of mountain flocks. You were a shepherd? A hireling vagrant? Yes, but at least at that time the man that saved your life, son. What ailed me when you took me in your arms? In that your ankles should be witness. Why do you speak of that old pain? I loosed you. The tendons of your feet were pierced and fettered. My swaddling clothes brought me a rare disgrace. So that from this you're called your present name, Oedipus, swollen foot. Was this my father's doing or my mother's? For God's sake, tell me. I don't know, says the messenger. But he who gave you to me has more knowledge than I. You yourself did not find me? You took me from someone else? Yes, from another shepherd. Who was he? Do you know him well enough to tell? He was called one of Laius's men. You mean the king who reigned here in the old days? Yes, he was that man's shepherd. Is he alive still so that I could see him? You who live here would know that best. Do any of you here know of this shepherd whom he speaks about in town or in the fields? Well, it's the one that Jocasta has already mentioned, of course, but he's not made that connection either. Tell me, it's time that this was found out once for all. I think he's none other, says the chorus leader, than the peasant whom you have sought to see already. But Jocasta here can tell us best of that. Jocasta, do you know about this man whom we have sent for? Is that the man he mentions? Why, now Jocasta has figured it out. Why ask of whom he spoke? Don't give it heed. Do not try to keep in mind what he said. It will be wasted labor. And Oedipus, what are you talking about? With such clues, I could not fail to bring my birth to light. I beg you, do not hunt this out. I beg you, if you have any care for your own life, what I am suffering is enough, because she knows. She now knows, but she doesn't want him to know, and doesn't want the pain of the recognition. Keep up your heart, Jocasta, though I'm proved a slave, thrice slave, because he's not born the son of a king. He's not the son of the Corinthian king, but that doesn't matter. Maybe he's the son of a slave. That doesn't matter. Though I'm thrice slave, and though my mother be thrice slave, you'll not be shown to be of lowly lineage. You're a queen. Don't worry. associate. You will remain a queen even if I'm a slave. It affects me. It doesn't affect you. Oh, be persuaded by me. I entreat you, do not do this. I will not be persuaded to let be the chance of finding out the whole thing clearly. So he wants to see. And he wants to see because he has no idea. If he knew and had any idea who he was, he wouldn't want to see. So Apollo wants to destroy him. It is because I wish you well that I give you this counsel, and it's the best counsel. Then the best counsel vexes me, and as for some while since. O Oedipus, God help you, God keep you from the knowledge of who you are. Here, someone, go and fetch the shepherd for me, and let her find her joy in her rich family. And then Jocasta, last speech. O Oedipus, unhappy Oedipus, that is all I can call you, and the last thing that I shall ever call you. Exit the stage. Chorus leader, why is the queen gone, Oedipus, in wild grief rushing from us? I'm afraid that trouble will break out of this silence. Break out what will. Oedipus is brave and he is not afraid. Okay. The herdsman comes in. And this is the shepherd, right before his eyes. And Oedipus says to him, 11:22, old man, look here at me, and tell me what I ask you. Were you ever a servant of King Laius? I was. No slave he bought, but reared in his own house. What did you do as work? How did you live? Most of my life was spent among the flocks. In what part of the country did you live? Kithaeron and the places near to it. And somewhere there perhaps you knew this man? What was he doing? What man? This man here. It's the messenger, right? This man here. Have you had any dealings with him? No, not such that I can quickly call to mind. And then the messenger, that is no wonder, master, but I'll help him. Remember what he does not know. For I know that he knows well the country of Kithaeron, how he with 2 flocks, I with 1, together kept company for 3 years. 6 months each year from spring till autumn time. When winter came, I drove my flocks back to our fold, back home, while this man, he drove his to Laius' steadings. Am I right or not in what I say we did? You're right, though it's a long time ago. Do you remember giving me a baby to bring up as my foster child? What's this? Why do you ask this question? Look, old man, here he is. Here's the man who was that child. And then the old man, death take you. Why don't you hold your tongue? No, no, says Oedipus. Do not find fault with him, old man. Your words are more at fault than his. Oh, best of masters, how do I give offense? Because he's terrified. How do I give offense when you refuse to speak about the child of whom he asks you? He speaks out of his ignorance, without meaning. If you'll not talk to gratify me, you will talk with pain to urge you. You tell me or I'll make you talk. Oh, please, sir, don't hurt an old man, sir. And then to the servants, here, one of you, twist his hands behind him. Why? God help me, why? What do you want to know? You gave a child to him, the child he asked you of? I did. I wish I'd died the day I did. You will, unless you tell me truly. And I'll die far worse if I should tell you. This fellow is bent on more delays, as it would seem. Oh, no, I have told you that I gave it. Where did you get this child from? Was it your own, or did you get it from another? Not my own at all. I had it from someone, one of these citizens, and from what house? Oh, master, please, I beg you, master, please don't ask me more. You're a dead man if I ask you again. The child came from the house of Laius. A slave, or born from himself? Oh God, I'm on the brink of frightful speech. And I have frightful hearing, but I must hear. The child was his child. But she within, your wife, would tell you best how all this was. She gave it to you? Yes, she did, my lord. To do what with it? Make away with it. She was so hard, its mother? Aye, through fear of evil oracles. Which? They said that he would kill his parents. How was it that you gave it away to this old man? Oh, master, I pitied it, and thought that I could send it off to another country. And this man was from another country, but he saved it for the most terrible troubles. If you are the man he says you are, you're bred to misery. And now here's the moment. Oh, they will all come out clearly. Light of the sun, let me look upon you no more after today. I who first saw the light bred of a coupling accursed, and accursed in my living with them I lived with, cursed in my killing. Now he goes out. Of course, because the light, the illumination, he knows who he is. So there are these terrible revelations, and now the light comes in, the light of Apollo, the sun god, and he is blinded by the light of the sun. He's going to pluck out his eyes, going to take them right out, and he does it off stage because the Greeks thought that that sort of violence on stage was inappropriate. It was demeaning to the audience. But he does it off stage, and he fulfills the prophecy of him of the Sphinx, the riddle of the Sphinx, which was actually about him. He solved it, and yet he fulfills it. So this is how the play turns and becomes the perfect play about revelation and blindness and recognition and so forth. So that is more or less the gist of it. And it's not ended there, because, of course, then we hear about Jocasta's having hung herself and so forth. And anyway, he has 4 children to carry the curse on, by the way. And we learn about them in later plays. But that is what makes it the great play, the play of recognition that it is. So I shall see you next time. As I said, I will put Plato's Allegory of the Cave up on a link on the website, but if you can't wait for it, it's book 7 of Plato's Republic. And I think you will see that it bears some similarities to this, although it doesn't reference this, and Aristotle doesn't reference it either, but it has a similar theme. Question or comment?
Is that Plato's Republic book 1 that we needed to get?
Plato's Republic, book 7. And you don't need to get it. I didn't want you to have to buy yet another for just one class, and I only want you to read one section. So you can find it online. I'll put a link up. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.